Hello dearies, welcome back to EachPage Flow. I'm Sela and this is episode 29 or episode 2 of season 4 of the podcast. And today we're talking about Fruit Basket Another, written by Natsuki Takaya Sensei. And yes, this is a direct sequel to Fruit Basket. Fruit Basket Another, or in Japanese Furutsu Basuketsu Anasa, or shortened as Furubana, is a manga with the genres school life, fantasy, shoujo, drama, comedy, and maybe a little bit of romance. Before I go into it, it's a quick warning that there might be some mild spoilers ahead if you haven't read Fruits Basket, the manga, or watched the anime, the 2019 one, please, not the 2001. There might be some spoilers for Furuba if you don't know it. If you want to go in fresh with this one, I will pause here, save it for later, and come back after. If you don't mind some spoilers, then we can begin. Fruit Basket Another takes place in the future, about 20 to 25 years after Furuba finished. And we're back in the same high school that Kyo, Tohru, Yuki, and the other young Sohmas attended in their days. But fair warning, they are not the main characters, and the author did publicly say that the original trio, Tohru, Yuki, and Kyo, were intentionally kept out of Furubana as active characters, and they do only appear as a cameo or mentions rather. You don't actually see them in the story. The story of the manga follows Sawa Mitoma, a teenage girl around 15 or 16 who meets Tohru and Kyo's son Hajime Sohma and Yuki's son Mutsuki. And slowly we start to meet all the kids that basically come from every one of the original story of all the characters. And because why not? That's what we wanted to know anyways, how they ended up and what happened afterwards. Kyo and Yuki's children are close, unlike their parents were, but there's a bit of a tension, sort of yaoi there between them. I mean, I couldn't shake off that feeling while I read the manga. If you don't believe me, it's there. You can check out the manga, read it. I don't know, there were some comments and the general vibe of it that made me squint and rethink the whole thing. I was going back and forth between the pages, like, what is happening with this too? But in any case, the manga is not particularly long, and it has interesting, funny, at times, moments that kept me in the story to the end. More so, if you're a fan of Furuba, you are going to want to read the whole thing. However, the main character, she was not all that endearing to me, and everyone kept trying to fix her up with Chigure's kid, Chiki. They both to have something. I don't know. It was strange to me how they kept pushing that angle there. For me, I found the side characters more interesting, to be honest. It happens at times with some stories. It happens to me. The curse is broken, so there's no particular supernatural fantasy elements in this manga. They mention it and how their parents told them what happened before and their upbringing, how awful it was for them. All of that, they know that what had happened. I told you there will be spoilers. If you read Fruits Basket, then you know that the curse was broken in the end and they went on to live normal lives. But everything that happened to them during the whole manga was horrible, basically, in most regards. And they kept that pain and that hurt from all those years when they turned into animals. And they told the tuners about it. And yeah, as it really was an interesting part to know that their kids were aware of it. And it is seen in the manga, in this one, that they gave a lot of love to their own children because of how they grew. And I liked it a lot. I read it, and I would love to watch an anime or an OVA about it. It should be quite interesting to look back into this. Then as adults, obviously, for fans, they should be there in the story, not just mentions like here in the manga in Fruits Basket and another. But it will be awesome to see Tohru and Kyo and Yuki, Hajime, Chigure, all of the characters from the original. But alas, they were not here. And it was still interesting as a sequel to know what did happen in the future for them. It was nice of the author to give that closure to the fans and maybe to herself as well. If you like the original manga, then yes, you would love to read this one. And yes, I don't have much on this one because it was a short manga. So I read most of these stories back to back, Fruit Basket and Fruit Basket another. And I watched the anime as well. Everything happened to me in the period of like a year or less. And I found all of it. So that's the great part of finding when something is a complete series and you don't have to wait for it to go live week by week or month by month. You can just binge watch or binge read. And I love Fruit Basket. And perhaps my view of this story is not completely unbiased. I enjoyed all of it, to be honest. If you know, I have told you before, the art tastes are different, and maybe you might not enjoy this high school romance or high school drama. But if you like the previous story, you are definitely gonna want to read this one. If you like school life and a cool manga, then this one is definitely a must as well. And I do recommend it. But it would be 4 stars for me because I didn't fully was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. And if I have doubts at the end, after I'm reading, if I have doubts about putting that 5, is usually a 4 for me. And that's it from me, dearest. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for sticking around for this quick review of Fruit Basket, the manga. And thank you for listening to me rambling about the Sohma kids once more. It really means a lot that you're here. If you want the fuller version of this review, it's over at EachPage.org, and you can click on the link on the description box anytime. It's there, you can save it for later. I have more about Fruit Baskets on the blog. And if you are enjoying this kind of rambling and you want more every week, don't forget to subscribe. It's the easiest way to make sure you don't miss the next one. And if you haven't seen it yet, go check out my original Fruit Baskets review right after this one. It is on season 2 of the podcast. It'll give you a fuller picture of the Sohma kids and what is happening in this next generation with Sawa, Hajime, and Mutsuki. Drop me a comment before you go. If they ever made an anime or an OVA of Fruit Basket and another, would you watch it? I would. But that's it from me today, dearies. Thank you and see you on the next one.